connected to terminal 1 and terminal 2. Later on, in order to slow down the speed of the machine, we should throw the switch to 1 dash and 2 dash. When do we use this 1 dash and 2 dash position of the switch? We will discuss later on. Right now, this is the circuit diagram for retardation test. Retardation test is experimental setup. So this is also one of the experiment in your machine's laboratory. Fine. Now let us see the description for this. This method is generally employed to shunt generators and shunt motors. From this method, we can get stray losses. So here, the important thing in this case here is that no doubt we say that usually testing means we are going to calculate efficiency for any kind of the motor, but here the specialty of this retardation test is with the help of this retardation test, we are going to calculate stray losses. What do you mean by stray losses? Is a
Mechanical.
combination of constant and mechanical losses. Mechanical means friction, windage, and everything. So such losses we are going to estimate using retardation test. Okay. Thus, if armature and shunt copper losses at any given load current are known, then efficiency of the machine can be easily estimated. So if we know the field copper loss and armature copper loss, then we can calculate the unknown stray losses very easily with the help of this retardation test. So usually this retardation test, it is meant to calculate the stray losses of DC shunt motor or DC shunt, what is that? Compound motor. Okay. Now let us see. But in order to calculate stray losses, we should know the armature and shunt copper losses. If it is known, only then we can calculate stray losses. Okay. Connections required for conducting this test are shown in figure dot 1. So figure dot 1, this is the retardation test experimental setup, where this is the circuit diagram. As I have told you, you are given with a circuit diagram for retardation test. Here this is the DC shunt motor. In order to control the starting current, there will be starting resistance which will be connected in series the armature. Input supplies DC, and this is the voltmeter V which reads the input voltage, and V1 reads the back EMF of the motor, and field is separately excited with positive negative DC supply. And this switch 1 dash 2 dash, it is the load resistance, electrical purely resistive load. It is non-inductive pure resistive load. The function of this we will see later on. Okay, so this is a circuit diagram for retardation test. Fine. The machine whose test is to be taken is run at a speed which is slightly above its normal speed. So the machine whose stray losses has to be calculated, that machine or that motor we are going to run with a speed slightly greater than the rated speed. Suppose if machine is made to rotate at 1500 rpm, then that machine will be run with a speed more than 1500 rpm. But it should be well within the tolerable limit. Okay. Supply to the motor is cut off while field is kept excited. Important thing here is what? Supply to the motor is cut off while the field is kept excited. Supply to the motor means what? You need to disconnect the power supply from this end. You need to disconnect the power to the armature or to the motor, but field should be continuously excited with the help of DC supply. Continuously, you should give the power supply to the field winding, whereas input supply to the motor should be cut off. So what happens if I cut off the power supply to the motor or to the armature? What happens? Is it going to run?
No, sir.
What it will do? It will start to slow down the speed. Since it is going to slow down, this method we call it as retardation test. Okay. So while it is going to slow down, then whatever that speed it will be there, it is used to overcome the, what is that, stray losses. Whatever the kinetic energy it is stored in the motor, while it is going to slow down the speed of the machine or the motor, that slowing down of the machine's kinetic energy is used to overcome the stray losses, which is nothing but constant along with mechanical losses. The supply to the motor is cut off while field is kept excited. Then what happens? Let us see. The armature consequently slows down. Armature means speed of the motor. Speed of the motor will be keeps on decreasing because input has been cut off now. Armature consequently slows down, and its kinetic energy is used to supply the rotational or stray losses. So when it is going to slow down, whatever that decrease in the speed, it will be there. How it is getting wasted? It is getting wasted in order to overcome the stray losses, which is nothing but what? Iron, friction, and windage losses. That is nothing but constant plus mechanical loss. If I is the amount of inertia of the armature, omega is the angular velocity. Don't get confused. So here this capital I stands for the moment of inertia. Is the amount of inertia of the, what is that, armature. It is not current. Usually here I indicates inertia of the armature and omega indicates angular velocity of the armature. Right. While it is going to slow down, it is armature, it is going to have the moment of inertia as capital I, and its angular velocity is omega. Now, what is the kinetic energy of the armature? Let us see here. Kinetic energy of the armature is 0.5 I omega square. What is the formula for kinetic energy in general? Kinetic energy is equal to general formula
half mv square.
half mv square. So,
Half
in
mv square.
correlation to that, with respect to this armature of the motor, I can write kinetic energy of the armature is equal to 0.5, which is nothing but half. Here m is nothing but a moment of inertia I, v square is nothing but omega square. So kinetic energy of this armature whenever it is going to slow down is 0.5 I omega square. Now, rotational loss. Rotational loss is nothing but the stray loss. It is denoted as W. And what is this rotational loss? It is the rate of change of kinetic energy. So whatever kinetic energy it is there while it is going to slow down, all that energy it will be absorbed or it is wasted for overcoming the rotational or stray losses. So that is nothing but rate of change of kinetic energy, which is nothing but the rotational loss in this case. So rate of change of kinetic energy is d by dt of half of I omega square. So d by rate of change of kinetic energy means derivative of kinetic energy with respect to time. So here you need to differentiate with respect to time. So if you simplify this derivative function, then you are going to get the result as I 2 omega d omega by dt. I omega half will be there, half I omega 2 times of d omega by dt, 2 at the denominator and another 2 at the numerator, it will be getting cancelled. Finally, you are left out with rate of change of kinetic energy, W is equal to I omega d omega by dt. Is it clear, all of you? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, what is this angular velocity omega? Omega is nothing but 2 pi n by 60, where n is the speed of the motor. 2 pi and 60, all they are constants. So now substitute the value of omega in this equation, then you are going to get a stray loss or the rotational loss, that is I as it is. I will be as it is. And what is the value of omega? Omega is 2 pi n by 60 d by dt of, what is that? D by dt of omega, that is d by dt of 2 pi n by 60. So you separate out all the constants. So if you separate out all the constants, you will be getting as I into 2 pi n by 60, 2 pi n by 60. Right. So here out of this, what we are doing is that 2 pi n by 60 to then 2 pi by 60. This we are going to take it out, and rest of the things, what is that? Dn by dt. We are going to take this as a change in the speed function. So speed will be changing here, yes or no? When we disconnect the power supply to the motor, then its speed will start to decrease, which is nothing but a retardation process will take place there. So there, what is the decrease in the speed with respect to the time? That is nothing but dn by dt. So if you check the equation here, rotational loss or the stray loss equation becomes what? 2 pi by 60 whole square, 2 pi by 60 whole square. Then remaining is I, another is N. I is moment of inertia, N is speed of the motor into dN by dt. So if I want to find out stray loss, if I want to find out stray loss, this 2 pi by 60 is constant. I you have to calculate. dN by dt you have to calculate, and N is known to you because this speed can be measured easily with help of tachometer. Right. So thus, if we want to find the rotational loss or the stray loss, the moment of inertia I and rate of change of speed with respect to time, that is dn by dt, must be known. Here I should be known and dn by dt should be known. These two parameters, if we are going to have it with you, then easily you can calculate what is the stray loss or the rotational loss. But how to get the value of this I, that is moment of inertia and rate of change of speed, that is the next methods. Okay. how to get the values for dn by dt and value of moment of inertia. Is it clear, all of you? The formula to calculate rotational or the stray losses is W, which is nothing but stray or the rotational loss. It is denoted as 2 pi by 60 whole square in into dn by dt. So here 2 pi by 60 is constant, and you can measure it using tachometer. The only unknown parameters here in this case is I and dn by dt. So how to get the value of moment of inertia I and dn by dt? Let us see now. Determination of dn by dt. What is this dn by dt? Rate of change of speed with respect to time. So whenever you are going to disconnect the power supply to the motor, speed of the motor will start to decrease, which is nothing but retardation process is going to take place. So what is the change in the speed with respect to time once you disconnect the motor from the power supply? That dn by dt you are going to calculate. As I have told you from the circuit diagram, what is this V1? Yes, this is V1. This is the voltmeter, which is used to read what? Which value you are going to read from that V1?
Voltage, sir.
Okay, voltage, but I told you this
Back
V1
EMF.
is back EMF. Very good. So here this V1 reads back EMF, which is nothing but the voltage quantity. So voltmeter V1, here you are going to use it in order to read the back EMF, which is nothing but the voltage quantity. Right. So here, the voltmeter V1, which is connected across the armature, will read the back EMF of the motor. We know that back EMF is proportional to the speed, so that voltmeter is calibrated to read the speed directly. So here, the type of motor is what? It is DC shunt motor, and what is the back EMF speed equation? N is directly proportional to what? What is the speed equation? Proportional to EB by pi.
Hi.
And for the DC shunt motor, flux is constant. If flux is constant, then back EMF is directly proportional to what? Directly
Speed.
proportional to the
EB.
is directly proportional is directly proportional to speed. Yes or no? So here, if I am reading this back EMF, which is nothing but voltmeter connected across armature, this back EMF, if I want to read, I should read what? V1, voltmeter reading V1. If I read voltmeter V1, that is nothing but what? It is as good as I am reading the speed here. So here, whenever you are going to disconnect the power supply, then voltage will start to decrease. If voltage will start to decrease, then EB will start to decrease. If EB will start to decrease, then speed will start to decrease. Okay. Now you can see here the voltmeter V1, which is connected across the armature. The voltmeter V1, which is connected across the armature, will read the back EMF of the motor. We know that back EMF is proportional to speed, so that voltmeter is calibrated to read the speed directly. So here, back EMF, if I want to read means I should read the speed, yes or no? Because as voltage changes, V1 changes. This V1 reads the back EMF. If back EMF is changing, means N is changing. So that change in the speed is nothing but what? With respect to time is what? dN by dt. Is it clear, all of you? Do you have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. When motor is cut off from the supply, the speed will start to decrease, and this can be noted with the help of stopwatch. So by the time when you disconnect the power supply, try to understand the procedure here. By the time when you disconnect the motor from the power supply, then motor will start to slow down the speed. So immediately when you disconnect the power supply, what you should do is you should start to decrease, you should turn on the, is that timer. Suddenly when you disconnect the motor from the power supply, you should turn on the timer, and by that time speed will start to decrease. So what is the time it is taken to decrease the speed for particular speed, particular time it will take? It will start to from 1500 rpm to 1200 rpm. How much time it is going to take to come from 1500 to 1200 rpm? What is the time taken? So that such time you should note it down. So in order to note that time, immediately you should start the timer and you should start to note down the time. Okay. So when motor is cut off from the power supply, the speed decrease and it is noted down with the help of stopwatch, that is a timer. The curve showing the variation between time and speed, which is obtained from voltmeter, which is suitably calibrated, is shown in figure dot 2. So, what is the decrease in speed with respect to the time that you can calculate by using the what V1. This V1 is used to read back EMF. This V1 is nothing but the back EMF, which is going to change with respect to the power supply disconnection. As EB changes proportionally, speed of the motor will be changing. So now, with respect to time, if EB changes means with respect to time, speed is also going to change. That is dN by dt. So that dN by dt directly you can get it with the help of this voltmeter. Though this voltmeter is reading voltage quantity, but this is directly proportional to the speed. In this way, we are going to calibrate change of speed with respect to time with using this voltmeter V1. Now we are going to draw the graph here. You can see what is the rate of change of speed. This is speed along y-axis and along x-axis it is the time. So what is the rate of change of speed from one definite normal speed to one another particular speed? That speed value with respect to the time, you are going to get all the points, and finally if you connect all these points you will be getting the smooth continuous graph. And for this curve, at any particular point C, you should draw the tangent. You should draw the tangent and call this tangent by the name AB. AB is the tangent at any point C. Right. So what is my y-axis here? It is speed, which is nothing but n, and what is x-axis? It is time, which is nothing but t. So now, if I take any particular point C on this curve, and if I draw the tangent EB to this, then how to get dN by dt? Here I am interested in calculating rate of change of speed with respect to time. Here, the rate of change of speed, you are going to get it with the help of this voltage V1, where voltage V1 is reading back EMF and back EMF is directly proportional to the speed. Yes. So now, once you keep on noting down V1 value with respect to the time, that V1 is nothing but back EMF, which is correlated to the speed here. So now, if I consider any point C and if I draw the tangent AB, now dN by dt. So this is nothing but rate of change of speed. So y-axis is nothing but dN, and what is my x-axis? This is dt. So ratio of dN by dt, that is nothing but what? If this is origin O, then dN by dt is equal to distance OA divided by distance OB. Do you agree? Yes or no? The y-axis is speed means this is dN and this is dt. So dN means what? Distance OA divided by distance OB. OA is what? Speed, which is nothing but in terms of RPM, and OB is what? This is the time, which is in terms of seconds. Is it clear? Therefore, dN by dt, it is nothing but what? Distance of OA divided by distance OB. This is how you are going to calculate dN by dt value using graphical approach method. Thus, the value obtained from the above can be substituted in the expression for stray loss or the rotational loss, which can give the stray loss. So now, whatever after calculating this dN by dt using this graph, this value of dN by dt, we are going to substitute in this equation in order to get stray loss or the rotational loss. So what is remaining now? Here we have estimated for dN by dt value, which is another thing we should calculate now. Remaining now?
Inertia of
Now,
armature.
inertia I should calculate, right? So in order to calculate that inertia, there are two methods. Let us see what are those two methods. So in the exam, try to understand. In the exam, what they do, they may ask directly with a neat sketch, explain a retardation test. Right. If that is the case, then whatever I'm explaining till now, you need to explain completely. Or otherwise, sometimes they may ask problem related to the retardation test. Or sometimes what they will say, for 5 to 6 marks, they may ask the question like, explain the two methods to calculate moment of inertia in retardation test. So, explain the two methods in order to calculate moment of inertia using Yeah, in the case of retardation test means, so whatever I'm explaining now, those two methods, only those two methods we should write. If they ask for two methods of calculation of moment of inertia, right? So what are those two methods to calculate moment of inertia? Let us see here. Method one. Method one comprises of using flywheel method. So this flywheel is nothing but what? It is a mechanical rotating part which is connected to the armature shaft, and its moment of inertia I1, it will be known already to us. Using that, you are going to calculate moment of inertia I here. Let us see the first part. Method 1, that is using flywheel, we are going to calculate moment of inertia I. So here you can see the armature is cut off. The armature is cut off, then the armature is cut off, and time required for definite change in speed is noted to draw the corresponding curve as we have drawn in the previous case. So here suddenly, without connecting any flywheel, first what we will do, first suddenly we are going to disconnect the power supply to the motor or to the armature, then motor will start to slow down the speed. That's change in the decrease in the speed, it can be easily noted down with the help of this voltmeter V1, with the help of this voltmeter V1 and the stopwatch, that is timer. And this V1, whatever that change in the speed, it will be there. Then we are going to plot the graph, then you are going to note down what is the time, like how we have seen in the previous case. So this is the usual method. For first case, don't connect any flywheel. Without connecting flywheel, disconnect the power supply to the motor, then it is going to stop down the speed. Then what is the change in the decrease in the speed for different definite interval of time, that time you note it down and draw the graph. Okay, that graph is similar to this one, similar to this one. Okay, then next what you can do is, this curve is drawn considering only armature of the machine, by considering only the armature of the machine. So here in the first case, don't connect any flywheel, just you connect the disconnect the power supply to the armature. Later on, what you can do, now a flywheel with known moment of inertia, say I1, is keyed onto the shaft. So for the second case, what you should do is, you should take the flywheel and you should connect it to the armature, and that flywheel's moment of inertia, if suppose if it is I1, then that I1 value, it should be known to us. Only such known value flywheel, flywheel's moment of inertia, you should connect it to the shaft, and the same curve is drawn again. So once again, you should draw the same curve. Same curve means the same curve. Okay. Then let us see the logic here. Now a flywheel with known moment of inertia, say I1, is keyed onto the shaft and the same curve is drawn again. Then what happens? Let us see. The slowing down time will be extended as combined moment of inertia of the two is increased. So now, earlier if it is going to take some 4 seconds without connecting flywheel, by considering only armature alone, if it is taking 4 seconds to slow down the speed of the machine, but now after adding one more flywheel with moment of inertia I1, it is going to take some more time to stop the machine. So that, so it is going to take more time. So it is going to take more time to stop the machine. So from 4 seconds, it may go up to 6 seconds. So what is the increase in time now? Earlier, if it is 4 seconds means, now after adding flywheel to the armature shaft, it will take more time to stop the machine. So what is the time? From 4 seconds, if it is going to 6 seconds means, there is an extension of the time for resting of the motor. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That second decrease in the time, once again, it should note it down, and that once again, you need to draw the same graph, same graph. So earlier, if the time taken to slow down the machine is dt1 by considering armature alone, and after adding flywheel, if it is going to take extra time, that time we can note it as dt2. dt1 is by considering armature alone, and dt2 is time after adding the flywheel to the shaft. The slowing down time will be extended as combined moment of inertia of the two is increased. Right. For any given speed, dn by dt1. What is this dn by dt1? Can anybody tell me? This is that speed where we have disconnected the motor from the power supply or armature alone. And dn by dt2 is that one where we are considering this time for adding the armature, what is that? Flywheel. It will be more and it will be less. This time will be less and this time it will be more. And for both these times, you are going to plot the curve. dn by dt2 are determined same as previous case. It can be seen that losses in both the cases are almost same, as addition of flywheel will not make much difference to the losses. So here in this case, so in the first case, if it is going to take the time dn by dt1 to slow down, and after adding the flywheel, if it is going to take some more time, that is dn by dt2, and in both the cases, if the losses, that is stray losses, if they are going to remain same, then we are going to write the equation now using both those assumptions. In first case, where flywheel is not there, in first case means where flywheel is not there means only armature alone is present. In that case, what is the time taken? In that case, time taken is dn by dt1. Is it clear, all of you? Time taken in that case is dn by dt1. And what is the rotational loss? It is given by the formula w is equal to 2 pi by 60 whole square in into dn by dt1. So this is the case when you are not taking any flywheel, only armature alone is present. Now, let us see the second equation. Adding the flywheel to the motor, armature in second case we get. So, on the addition of flywheel to the shaft of the armature, then it is going to take extra time. What is that extra time? Let us see now. That will be dn by dt2. So, once again, the stray loss or rotational loss equation will be what? 2 pi by 60 whole square as it is. Here, I is what? This is the moment of inertia which is unknown. But flywheel's moment of inertia is what? Is what value? Flywheel's moment of inertia is how much? Yes, it is I1, yes or no? It
Yes,
is
sir.
I1 n into dn by dt2. So this is the second speed time. So now, as I told you, in both the cases, rotational losses, they are going to remain the same. And if you compare both the equations, so here on the LHS side, here also it is W. And in the second case, when you add the flywheel, here also W, that is stray losses will remain the same. If LHS for both the cases, if they are same, then I can equate both the equations, yes or no? I'm going to equate both the equations. So here on equating both the equations, that is I and dn by dt1, this is for considering armature alone, and I plus I1 into n dn into dn by dt2, this is the equation after adding the flywheel. In both the cases, 2 pi by 60 whole square is same, so it will be getting cancelled. So it will be getting cancelled. So the remaining part is moment of inertia I, speed of the motor n, and rate of change of speed, that is dn by dt1, that is equal to I plus I1 into n dn by dt2. So further, if you simplify this equation, you'll be getting as I plus I1 divided by I is equal to dn by dt1 divided by dn by dt2. Once again, if you simplify by taking the things with respect to only moment of inertia, this I, if I resimplify this one, then I equation becomes what? I plus I1 into dn by dt2 whole divided by dn by dt1. Okay, once again, if you rearrange the terms, finally you will be getting this equation. At the end, moment of inertia I, which is unknown, it is given by what? Moment of inertia I is equal to, after simplifying this whole expression, I1 into T1 upon T2 minus T1. At the end, moment of inertia I, which is unknown to us, it is dependent on what? I1 into T1 upon T2 minus T1. Can anybody tell me what are these parameters stands for? I1 is what? I1 is nothing but what? I1 is moment of inertia of the flywheel. Moment of inertia of the flywheel, which is already known to us. T1 is what?
Initial time taken.
Initial time taken to slow down the machine by considering armature alone. By considering armature alone, where we have not added any flywheel to the armature shaft. And what is this T2?
Final time taken.
Final time taken to slow down the machine after adding the
Flywheel.
flywheel. After adding the flywheel, whose moment of inertia is I1. So altogether, T1 is known to us, T2 is known to us, I1 is known to us. So after substituting all the known parameters, this is how you can estimate moment of inertia with the help of flywheel, with or without flywheel method. Okay, clear all of you? This is the one method to calculate moment of inertia. And the second method, method two is what? Without using flywheel. So here in the second case, we are not using any flywheel. If this flywheel is not used, then how you are going to slow down the machine? How you are going to not calculate moment of inertia I? And this is the same method what we are going to follow in the laboratory also. In our laboratory, while we are going to conduct the what is that retardation test in order to calculate the moment of inertia I, we are going to calculate using without using the flywheel method. So without using flywheel method means it is electrical braking method. Electrical braking method means here whatever after disconnecting the power supply, what will be the speed of the machine or the motor? It will start to slow down. Yes or no? Take for example your ceiling fan. If power is disconnected to the ceiling fan, will it be running?
No, sir.
What will be this? It will start to slow down. Yes or no? While it is going to slow down, whatever its kinetic energy it will be there, it will be wasted in order to overcome the mechanical output. That is stray losses like iron, friction, and windage losses. Yes or no? So while it is going to waste its kinetic energy, all that kinetic energy it will be going to be absorbed by the electrical element. So that electrical element here in this case is the rheostat or the resistance. So whatever uh, the power that is associated, the kinetic energy it is associated in the armature after disconnecting the power supply, that power you are going to be made to be absorbed by the electrical element that is nothing but the resistance here. If that is the case, that method we call it as without using flywheel. Flywheel is a mechanical device. So we are not using mechanical device here. Now here we are using electrical element that is nothing but the resistance. Clear? So let us see how it is possible. In this method, time is noted for the machine to slow down by say 5% considering the armature alone. So here what we are doing is that in the same case, first we are going to take only for armature, and in the second case we are applying that kinetic energy to be getting absorbed by the electrical element resistance. The first case, consider only armature. It has been disconnected from the power supply. Because of that, its speed has been slowed down by 5%. Speed has been decreased by 5% by disconnecting the motor from the power supply. Then armature speed has been reduced to 5% from the initial speed. Okay. Then a retarding torque, either mechanical or electrical, is applied. So usually electrical uh, torque, retarding torque. Retarding means what? Torque means what? It is a force that makes the body to move, movement of the body. But here retarding torque means what? It is that force which is not allowing the body to move. It will bring the body to the resting position, standstill condition. So that we call it as retarding torque. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
The retarding torque, either mechanical or electrical, is applied. Preferably, electrical retarding torque is applied, and time required to slow down by 5% is noted down. So, initially, don't connect any load, electrical load, just to disconnect the motor from the power supply. Then, note down what will be the time taken to slow down the speed of the machine for 5% decrease in the speed. And secondly, what you can do for the second time, you apply the electrical retarding torque. Once again, you note down the time to slow down the speed to 5%. Then those two times using that, you can calculate the value of I here. That is moment of inertia. The method by which electrical torque can be provided is shown in figure dot 1. So this is the figure dot 1. This is the figure dot 1 where in the beginning I told you that this This is the figure dot one. So I told you that there is a switch which can be made to thrown on either side. If I throw the switch on 1 and 2 position, then power supply will be given to the motor, which will be connected to the input DC supply. If I remove the switch from position 1 and 2, if I connect this switch to the position 1 dash and 2 dash, then what will happen? Can anybody tell me? Initially, if the switch is on position 1 and 2, then what is going to happen? Input will be applied to the motor. Yes? Input is applied to the motor. If switch is thrown on 1 and 2 position, input is available to the motor, then motor will be running. Afterwards, what we are doing, this switch which is connected to 1 and 2 position, if it is disconnected from 1 and 2, if it is connected to 1 dash and 2 dash, then what will happen? This motor gets disconnected from the power supply, then speed of the motor is getting reduced. It will slow down slowly. Then whatever the slowing down of this motor will take place, that is rate of change of kinetic energy, it will be there of the motor. That rate of change of kinetic energy, you are making it to be absorbed by this element. What is that element? What is the element
Resistance.
here?
Resistance.
Resistance. Resistance. So suddenly after disconnecting from the power supply to this motor, if I throw the switch to 1 dash and 2 dash, motor will start to slow down, and that slowing down of the motor which is having kinetic energy, that kinetic energy it will be made to be absorbed, and it is available to the electrical load, which is purely resistive, which is non-inductive or purely resistive. So all that kinetic energy will be applied or absorbed by this electrical load, and since because of that motor will slow down immediately and motor will come to the resting condition. Because of this method, we call this one as electrical running down test or electrical braking method. Electrical brake means what? Brake is what? What is the meaning of the brake? Bring the motor to the resting position. So here you are bringing the motor to the resting position by applying some electrical load. So this electrical load offers retarding torque to the motor so that motor will come to the resting condition. Because of this, we call this one as running down test. Running down test. Is it clear, all of you? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
In
sir.
the first case, don't apply any electrical load, note down the time. And in the second case, throw the switch on to 1 dash and 2 dash position so that machine slow down time, and kinetic energy it will be absorbed by the electrical load, that which is purely resistive in nature. Okay. Preferably electrical retarding torque is applied and time required to slow down by 5% is noted down. So once again, you should note down the time. Initial time is T1 if you say, now the time will be T2. The method by which electrical torque can be provided is shown in figure dot 1, which is already I have told you, in which switch S after disconnecting from the power supply is thrown to the terminals 1 dash and 2 dash. So switch will be thrown onto the 1 dash and 2 dash. So 1 dash and 2 dash means this is the path for, is that resistive load. 1 dash and 2 dash means this is the path for resistive load. The machine gets connected to non-inductive load, that is purely resistive load, which is nothing but RL. Okay. The power drawn by this resistance will act as a retarding torque on the armature, which will make it to slow more quickly. So after disconnecting the power supply, if I connect the switch to 1 dash and 2 dash, then what will happen? Machine is anyhow disconnected from the power supply. It is going to be slow down. Once after that, if I throw the switch on 1 dash and 2 dash, then its kinetic energy completely it will be absorbed by the electrical purely resistive load, which is nothing but RL. Okay, during that period of time, what is the current? That is ammeter reading, which is nothing but average ammeter reading, and this is average voltmeter reading. That you should note it down. P and I, you should note it down. And then the machine gets disconnected. The machine then gets connected to a non-inductive load resistance RL. The power drawn by this resistance will act as retarding torque on the armature, which will make the motors to slow down very quickly. The additional loss in the resistance will be equal to. So already, if I throw the switch on 1 dash and 2 dash, further there will be power loss. Yes or no? So what is that power loss? How it is calculated? Let us see. The additional loss in the resistance will be equal to the product of ammeter reading and the average of the voltmeter reading for a fall of 5% of the voltmeter reading, and the time is noted down. The ammeter reading is also changing, so its average value is taken. Thus, the additional losses in that case is Ia square into Ra plus Ra. So here already in the earlier case, to look at this circuit diagram, this armature is having the own resistance Ra, and if I add one extra resistance RL, so what is the amount of extra power that will be consumed by this load? It will be product of voltmeter, product of ammeter reading. So usually first time ammeter, it will be having large value of the current, then it will be having less value. So here we are taking average of the ammeter reading, and here also similarly we are taking the average of the voltmeter reading. High voltage to the low voltage. High voltage to the low voltage means what? High speed to the low speed, because EB is directly proportional to N here. So whatever EB will be there, that is nothing but the speed. So power consumed by this electrical load, it is nothing but product of ammeter into voltmeter, which is nothing but the average reading we are going to take it. And altogether, whatever the loss it is going to take place, that is nothing but IA square into RA plus RL. RA is the armature resistance and RL is the extra electrical resistance. Now, is it clear all of you? IA square into RA plus R, where let T1 be the time when armature is considered alone, and T2 be the time when armature is connected across the load resistance. First case, by considering armature alone. In the second case, after throwing the switch to 1 dash and 2 dash, load resistance will come into picture and time taken to slow down the machine is T2. And V be the average voltage across R, and IA be the average current. And W dash is what? Additional retarding electrical torque supplied by the motor. W dash is the extra power loss which is taking place at the electrical resistive element. So now, in this case, the well-known rotational loss equation is given by W is equal to 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt1. After throwing the switch from 1 and 2 position to the 1 dash and 2 dash position, then further power loss will take place at the electrical resistive element. So that is nothing but W dash. So now in this case, rotational loss will become what? W plus W dash is equal to 2 pi by 60 whole square into IN into dN by dt2. This is second time after throwing the switch to 1 dash and 2 dash, where all the power kinetic energy of the motor, it will be absorbed by the electrical element. This is by considering armature alone. So after solving this, what is that? If dn, that is change in the speed, is same for both the cases, if change in the speed is same for both the cases, by making this assumption, if you further simplify this equation, what is that? This is for adding the electrical torque. This is by for considering armature alone. So now you take the ratio of W plus W dash divided by W, that is equal to 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt2 whole divided by 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt2. Take the ratio of, suppose this is equation 2 and this is equation 1. Now take the ratio equation 2 by equation 1. What is my equation 2 here? W plus W dash. This is equation 2. Equation 1 is W. So whatever the things they are related to W plus W dash, you rewrite once again here. W plus W dash is nothing but what? 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt2 whole divided by 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt1. So simplify all the things. Finally, after simplifying the equations, if you simplify this equation, W plus W dash into T2 is equal to W T1. And if you rearrange the terms, W into T2 minus T1 is equal to W dash T2. Finally, rotational loss W is equal to W dash into T2 by T1 minus T2. So this is how you are going to calculate moment of inertia without making use of moment of inertia. Sorry, here you are going to calculate rotational loss W or the stray loss, but check the equation here. It is free from what? This equation is completely free from, it is only dependent on power loss. That is product of voltage and current, which is going to take place across the electrical element. If you check the equation here, W earlier, this W, it is comprising of what? W is equal to 2 pi by 60 whole square IN dN by dt1. So here moment of inertia is there, N is there. So this is the one form of calculating rotational loss. But here this rotational loss formula, it is having moment of inertia I and dN by dt. But now using electrical braking method, if you see the same rotational loss formula, it is given by what? W is equal to W dash into T2 upon T1 minus T2. Right. So what is the advantage here? This equation is completely free from I and dN by dt equation. So This is the another method to calculate stray or the rotational loss using electrical braking method. Is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here dn by dt1 is the rate of change of speed without extra load. As I told you, here we don't add any extra electrical load when for the first time, that is dn by dt1. Whereas dn by dt2 is the rate of change in the speed with extra electrical load second time. Okay. So this is how you are going to estimate rotational loss or the stray losses using flywheel method or without using flywheel method. Without using flywheel method means it will be electrical braking method, where you are allowing all the kinetic energy while slowing down of the machine to be consumed by the electrical resistance RL, which is purely resistive in nature. So if in the exam they may ask with a need sketch explain retarding test means, so this is all the things you are supposed to write. All this theory, then these equations, circuit diagram, then you should write how to estimate dn by dt, then this graph. After calculating dn by dt, how you are going to calculate moment of inertia. First method is using flywheel method. Second method is and all these equations. Second method is what? Without using flywheel method. It means it is electrical braking method. Till here you should explain if it is asked in the exam. Clear, all of you? This is 8 to 10 marks question in the final VTU exam. Or sometimes what they may say, explain the two methods to calculate moment of inertia. If they ask only those two methods to calculate moment of inertia, then you should start to answer from this side. In that case, you should explain these two methods. Which are those two methods? Let us see here. If they ask only for moment of inertia, then you should explain for only moment of inertia methods, that is using flywheel method and without using flywheel method. So that is without using flywheel method, this portion, and followed by these equations. Then without using flywheel method means electrical braking method. This whole part you should explain. They ask only for moment of inertia, and that will be for only 5 to 6 months. So check the weightage of marks and answer accordingly. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we will see one problem on this. Problem on retardation test. The retardation test is made on separately excited DC machine as a motor. So here machine is made to act as a motor. Then here on this motor we have conducted a retardation test. The induced voltage falls from 240 to 220 volts in 25 seconds on opening the armature circuit. So here after disconnecting the power supply, voltage has been reduced from 240 volts to 220 volts. And what is the time taken to reduce that voltage from 240 to 220 volts? Time taken is 25 seconds. And that is on opening the armature circuit. On opening the armature circuit means what? Disconnecting the motor from the power supply. And in 6 seconds on suddenly changing armature connection from supply to load resistance. So after that, suddenly if I throw the switch from 1 to position to 1 dash 2 dash position, then all the energy, kinetic energy of the motor, while it is going to slow down, it will be consumed by the electrical resistance. So this is electrical braking method here. This problem belongs to electrical braking method. So all that power, it will be consumed by the electrical load. And how much time it is going to take for that time? It will be 6 seconds. And what is the current during that period of time? Current is 10 ampere. Right. Find the efficiency of the machine when running as a motor, taking a current of 25 ampere on a supply of 250 volts. So for this condition, calculate the efficiency of the machine running as a motor by taking the current 25 ampere with the supply voltage of 250 volts. Okay. The armature resistance here, it is given as 0.3 ohms, and field winding resistance RSH is 200 ohms. Okay. So this problem belongs to the electrical braking method, means without using flywheel method. Now let us see the solution part. So I told you that what is the formula here in this case? The formula here in this case is W is equal to W dash into just now whatever we have seen T2 upon T1 minus T2. This formula we should use now. Calculate the stray losses. T2 upon T1 minus T2 minus T1. T1 minus T2. Okay. What is this W dash? This is the power loss or the power that is absorbed by the resistive element. It is nothing but the product of average of the current into average of the voltage. Okay. So in order to calculate W dash, let us see now. I average is how much here? I average is given as 10 ampere.
10 ampere.
Then average across the load. What is the average voltage across the load? Voltage has been changed from 240 to 220 means average we should take. Average means what? 240 plus 220 volt divided by 2. That is 230 volts. So this is my V average. V average is 230 and I average is 10 ampere. So therefore, power absorbed, this W dash value, power absorbed by the electrical resistance load, W dash is equal to what? P average into I average, that is equal to 230 into 10 amps, that is equal to 2300 watts. Now, without adding the resistive element, time taken is how much? Initial time is 25 seconds, and on throwing the switch from 1 2 position to 1 dash 2 dash position, then all the kinetic energy it will be absorbed by the electrical element, and time taken for that is 6 seconds. So that will be T2 and this will be T1. Okay. Now finally you calculate what is that stray losses or the rotational loss, which is nothing but W is equal to W dash into T2 upon T1 minus T2. So what is W dash? 2300. What is T2? 6. T1 is 25. Once again T2 is 6. So after simplifying, rotational or the stray losses will be 726.31 watts. 726.31 watts, which is nothing but the stray losses. So this is the first thing we have calculated. What else we should calculate from this? After calculating stray loss, next thing is what we should calculate for efficiency. Efficiency means what? We want information of output. We want information of input. So now let us calculate the things. Motor input current is how much here? Check whose phone mic is on.
25.
Check whose mic is on. Because here I am getting disturbance. Vinayak, ask him to mute his phone mic. Just send the message to him. So now, after calculating the rotational loss or the stray loss, now let us calculate efficiency. For efficiency, we want output and input information. So let us calculate input now. So input means motor input, that is given as 25 ampere, and field current is how much? It's not even ISH, V by RSH. V is input applied voltage to the motor is how much? 250. And what is the RSH value? Field resistance value is how much? 200. So 250 by 200, which will be field current will be 1.25. So if it is a motor, then current will be getting entered inside the armature. So what will be the armature current value here? IA is equal to IL minus ISH if machine is meant to act as a motor. If it is acting as generator means we should take it as IL plus ISH. But now here machine is meant to act as a motor means armature current will be IA is equal to IL minus ISH. So IL value is 25 and field current is 1.25. So 25 minus 1.25 is how much? 23.75 ampere. So this is what? This is the armature. 25 minus 1.25 is 23.75. This is the full load armature current value. Using this, now you calculate different losses. First, let us calculate armature copper loss. Armature copper loss formula is IS square into RA. IS square is 23.75 whole square multiplied by armature resistance is 0.3. It will be 169.21 watts. Then you calculate shunt field copper loss, that is ISH square into RSH. That is ISH is how much? Already we have calculated 1.25 whole square, and field resistance is 200, which will be 312.5 watts. Then now calculate total loss. Total loss is nothing but armature plus field copper loss plus stray loss. So armature copper loss is 169.21 plus field copper loss is 312.5 plus the stray loss is how much? 726.31, which we have already calculated. So altogether this will be the total losses, which will be 1208.02 watts. So this is total loss information. Now you calculate input to the motor. Input to the motor is what? V into I. Voltage is 250, current is 25. So input to the motor is 6250 watts. So if I know total loss, if I know input, then how to calculate output? Output is nothing but input minus total losses. Input is 6250 minus losses is 1208.02. Then obviously output will be 5041.98 watts. So this is the output of the motor. Finally, we are going to use now well-known general equation for the efficiency of the motor, that is output by input. That is efficiency, percentage efficiency of motor eta m equal to output by input into 100. Output is 5041.98 divided by input is 6250 into 100. So efficiency will be 80.67. So finally, efficiency of the motor is percentage eta m is equal to how much? 80.67%. Is it clear, all of you? Just to go through this problem once again, you will understand. If you face any problem, you can ask me. Yes?
Okay, sir.